it, and now they have it on tape. So I think that's really going to help. But I do think they get better week after week after week after week.
Yeah.
Hey, friends, welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs. In the Rollo Insurance Studio, I'm David Nuno. I got Nick Savage and Callie Gardner with me. All right, we'll start off with Nick. Nick, what was your favorite part of the show?
Peter Burns, definitely, because he was just here in College Station, and I like what he had to say about A&M, and especially Connor. He saw what he expected from him, so that's good to see.
Yep, good stuff. Galita, what was your favorite part of the show?
I like Jordan Pugh.
Jordan Pugh was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was great.
You know what I like about Jordan Pugh? He and Jamie McCoy are two different types of personalities, yet they both keep it so real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and what else do we have on the show, Nick?
Well, we had Charean Williams recapping Week 1 in the NFL. We had Jamie McCoy. We had the KBTX Roundtable, and Peter Burns.
Great show. Check it out. Just to rewind. How winnable, in your mind, is this Florida game, considering Florida's not very good, but A&M hasn't won on the road since Missouri in 21, and also we have all these question marks about the offense.
Yeah, Florida could be good, if they commit, obviously, to the freshman. We just don't know how good he's going to be, and are they going to do with Johnny and put him in there and say, all right, it's your offense, then let's go, and so that scares me a little bit about what they're going to do at quarterback. Are they going to fully commit to him and let him go, and is he going to turn out to be like Johnny was in Johnny's first year? I don't know. But that concerns me a little bit. But yes, you got to go beat Florida. You absolutely have to win this game, and the team that doesn't win this game is in trouble. I mean, for Florida, it means probably a coaching change headed that way, and for A&M, it means all right, we're relegated to a rebuilding year is what it is. If you start out 1-2, I mean, facts are facts. So. I think we all probably overestimated this team a little bit, expected maybe a little bit more, but I still think I'm not going to compare them to Johnny's first year, but I think they could do that with this coaching staff. I think they're going to get better by the week. I think, but we have to see it. But I do think it's going to be like that year. The offense didn't click in that Florida game, in Johnny's first game, and then they just kept getting better and better and better and better and better all the way along. And we could see that. And I think with the coaching staff, that's what we're going to see, because they'll have tape to show them, hey, here's what we need to do. You have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator and figure out exactly what his players can do. And you don't know that until you get in real games to see it. And now they have it on tape. So I think that's really going to help. But I do think they get better week after week after week after week.
All right, big three observations. We're bringing it back, the most famous segment of all time.
Prepared.
What? I sent you an email.
I know you sent me an email.
Delete spam. Nicole, you have any observations you want to give us?
Yes, so I wrote them down.
Oh my goodness.
With my notes.
So prepared.
Not on this paper, but I'm just pretending like this is my paper that I wrote down. Terry Bussey averaging 65 yards a carry.
Is it that? I feel like they stopped him in the first game, but we'll take it.
No, after this one game.
Oh, one game, 65 yards a carry. Okay.
So if he can just keep that average up, that'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Mike Elko getting his first win. I don't know if you saw it, but we have it on our cameras. But when Elko was sawing him off, all the cameras are around him, and the cameras just swarm at the end of the game. And he said afterwards, he goes, that can't not have been that important that you guys stayed on me that long, because everyone just stayed on him. So it's funny seeing him be playful with the cameras. And then big three, third takeaway, just I got to see the defensive line come up with a sack.
Give us something.
For me, okay. Cyrus Allen, we mentioned him. Yep. He looked really good. He was a target, like the main target for both Connor and Marcel. The DBs look great, specifically Will Lee, the third, coming up with 2 interceptions in that game. That's awesome. And then the third, I would say, is just the accountability still. Everybody's taking accountability. I mean, Shamar Stewart said it yesterday. Mike Elko said it yesterday. The run defense isn't good. I love seeing the accountability still throughout the season.
Trav, you got 3?
Sure. Let's go run defense, making sure everybody's fitting the right gaps and just staying solid there. I actually don't think, especially if DJ Lagway plays, I don't think sacks are going to be a big issue here, because he is a mobile quarterback. Tackles for loss and pressures will be equal to sacks in a game like this if he plays more than Mertz does. Kind of like with Riley Leonard, just getting that pressure on him, making him have to make some decisions under pressure, I think will be huge. And then just looking at making sure Connor's footwork is still the same, and that, like we said, it was the exception, not the rule.
So what does this game mean for several things, for A&M and the rest of the way? What it means for Connor and what he is going to be projected to be for the rest of the season? How important is this Florida game against a wounded team in Florida? And hello, we might be wounded as well. Like, what does this game mean long term?
Nothing. It's an SEC win. I think that what you need to see with this team right now is I think you need to see improvement every single week. I don't want to say incremental improvement. I think you need to see vast improvement every single week. Now, if we get into game 4, you breaking down the first quarter of the season, we can reconvene after that. I think we have the team, we have the assets, we have the playmakers in order to run away with this game, but it's also putting it all together. This hasn't been, when you look at the game 1, defense did their thing. Special teams did their thing. You look at game 2, you added the running game to it. Now, game 3, you need to be able to add the offensive pieces in there. So, of course, it means something because it's an SEC game, but in the grand scheme of it, I don't think it's overly detrimental to what we're doing as a program, what we're doing as a team. I think we just need to take another step moving forward. And I think if we take the step and we progress the right way, we'll win the game handily. It all depends on how well and how cohesive we are as a unit going on the road.
So let's talk about that. Like, to me, it's not just Connor in this conversation, right? Like, to me, the offense has to be good, and that means wide receiver separation, establishing the run, which I think they've been able to do. Is that kind of like what you're thinking?
Yes. Like, on the road, you need 2 things to travel. You need the defense and you need the run game to travel. Okay, because the run game controls the clock. The one thing that you want to be able to do on the road, and you want to do in every game, but specifically on the road, you want to be able to control the clock. You control the clock, you control the game, right? Our defense is dynamic enough, and we have the pass rushers on the D-line. We've gone back and forth 1,000 times about that. We have enough playmakers in the back end where we can control the outcome a lot more on defense. But now it's about controlling the clock, taking the crowd out of the game, but then exploiting them in situations and opportunities in the pass game. Off a lot of play actions, a lot of boots, a lot of waggles. I think that we haven't utilized that well enough with Connor and whatnot. But I just think, man, going on the road, being able to have those things, enhance them this week, man, I think it's going to be big for us.
Well, I'm glad you say that because some folks are not ready to accept that performance because it was against McNeese and not a quality opponent. So from what you saw, does it make you feel better at least that we'll see more of that Connor than the one we saw against Notre Dame?
Yeah, because I expected them to play better, obviously. There's no doubt because of the level of competition. I think the one thing that actually surprised me the most and made me feel more comfortable was I was talking to Jason Lavalette on the show right before the game, and I said, hey, man, are you boys with Connor? He's like, yeah, we played baseball growing up, and that's my boy. And I was like, so how did you handle, the game against Notre Dame? It was his worst game. He's like, I told him, I was like, dude, you're horrible, and he was, and just the fact that, when you're hanging out with your boys, you want to make sure that your friends are giving you hell. And if you're going to give them hell back, that almost means like, you're like, hey, dude, I know what happened. I know it wasn't a good situation. And so sure enough, I knew he was going to bounce back. So I think mentally he's in a good spot. And then, now you have an unbelievable important game coming up with, who the hell knows out of Florida right now with what they got DJ Lagway. Lagway kind of reminded me a little bit of what Connor was this week, is the fact that you took advantage of a bad team and you injected a little bit of flavor and juice into your program.
You know what else he does, Peter? And I'm stealing a thought from Jordan Pugh, who was on the show earlier. But if you remember a couple years back when Connor came in against South Carolina, when he made his debut, and yeah, they didn't end up winning that game against South Carolina, and then he played against Ole Miss and played magnificently in a loss. It just gave you hope. And sometimes the fans need hope, but the locker room needs hope too.
Yeah, and then it's just a matter of, hey, all right, who are you going to get the ball to? Is there a good feeling? I think that's one of the things we talked about, and we didn't talk about enough, and I'm sure you guys brought it up, but we were really looking into, hey, when you lose your starting center a couple of plays into the season, everything changes, and that was just a horrible matchup in week 1 that Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman were going to take advantage of that. So I think there was a little bit more comfort level with the kid that came in, the transfer from Utah. But yeah, you need to win a damn game. It's like I'm out here on the golf course right now with my dad, and I'm like, all right, just get a birdie. You know, like, just, I don't care if it's an easy par 5 or an easy par 3. Like, just get something to where you're like, all right, I've got something positive to work on. But, man, I can't – I mean, I don't think we can, you know, highlight this game enough as monster for Elko and even probably bigger for Billy Napier as he's kind of battling for his future.
Nick, can you have Cooper close it out for us? Have him tell the people what to do.
All right. Come here, Cooper.
Tell the people. Get real close to the mic.
I'm becoming a veteran at this, but we got to like, we got to subscribe, we got to comment, we got to share.
Please do all that, and we'll see you next time on the TexAgs Rewind.